Knowing better does not always mean your system has been redesigned. That sentence may disturb something, but it's okay, because many adults are tired of knowing the right thing and still watching themselves repeat the old thing. They know they should pause, yet they send the message. They know they should rest, still they keep pushing. A boundary is needed, yes, but somehow the mouth still says yes. The relationship drains them, yet one lonely night, they go back. They understand the pattern. They can even explain it. But under pressure, the old behavior returns like NEPA light that disappears just when the fan is beginning to help small. This is where shame usually enters, because people say, "What is wrong with me?" They call themselves weak, lazy, undisciplined, unserious. Sometimes they even begin to doubt all the work they have done. But Inside the Design is not here to insult the pattern. We are here to understand the structure beneath it. Welcome to Inside the Design by Innocent Minds. In episode 13, we closed the first foundation with one thought. Architecture stands when intensity fades. Now in episode 14, we begin the next part of the journey. Not awareness alone, but rebuild. Because seeing the pattern is important, but seeing is not the same as redesigning. So today, we're looking at why people can know better and still repeat the pattern. Not because they are foolish, not because they have not tried, not because prayer, books, therapy language, coaching language, or trainings are useless. No. The deeper reason is this. Information can enter the mind before safety enters the system. Now that is why a person can say, we should not react from anger. But then anger comes and the body heats up. The fingers begin to type. Every wise thing disappears for 2 minutes. And in those 2 minutes, the old system takes over. Later on, the person calms down and says, why did I do that again? That question is painful, but it is also useful. Because the issue was never only knowledge. The issue was access. Which system had access to your body under pressure? Is it the new awareness system or the old protection? Let's make this more practical. Someone sends you a message that feels slightly cold. Nothing dramatic, just one short reply. Your mind may know, maybe they're busy. Maybe this is not about me. Maybe there's no need to conclude, but the body may read it differently. The chest tightens, thoughts begin to run. A small delay becomes rejection. A short response becomes disrespect. Silence becomes abandonment, and before long, one ordinary message has become a full emotional court case. You start drafting replies, you check when they were last online, perhaps you even open their status. Maybe you rehearse what you would say if they claim nothing is wrong. And that is not just communication. That is an old system trying to restore safety. In moments like that, knowledge is present, yes, but protection is louder. And protection does not always care about wisdom. Protection cares about speed. It wants relief now, explain now, defend now, withdraw now, chase now, say yes now, cut them off now, send the long message now. Old patterns often survive because they offer quick relief. Not healthy relief, but temporary relief. A long message may calm the anxiety for a moment. Saying yes may reduce guilt for a moment. Overworking may make a person feel valuable for a moment. Apologizing too quickly may reduce tension for a moment. Returning to what drains them may reduce loneliness for a moment, but later, the cost appears. More exhaustion, less self-trust, deeper resentment, another broken agreement with the self. A familiar shame, and the pattern wins again. So what is really happening is this. The system is choosing familiar relief over unfamiliar redesign. And that is the heart of it. A new behavior may be wise, but it may not yet feel safe. Saying no may be correct, but the body remembers rejection. Rest may be necessary, yet something inside still thinks value comes from output. Silence may be mature, but the old part believes safety lives in over-explaining. Walking away may be healthy, but still, the lonely part reaches for that familiar pain. Now, this is why we do not rebuild by shouting at ourselves. Shame cannot create stable redesign. No. It may push movement for a while. A person may become harsh enough to force themselves into action, but under real pressure, the old structure will still look for its old road. Like somebody traveling Abuja to Jos by instinct. Even when Google Map is suggesting another route, the body knows the old turn. So redesign requires something deeper. It requires repeated evidence, not just powerful intention, not just from today, not just never ever again. The system needs to experience the new behavior as survivable, a pause that does not kill you, a no that does not end your worth, a rest that does not make you feel useless, a boundary that does not exile you, a disagreement that does not destroy connection. Just one small evidence at a time. This is how the rebuild begins. First, stop turning repetition into identity. If you repeat a pattern, do not immediately say, this is who we are. No, say this. This is a place where the old system still has access. That sentence changes the work. It removes shame and brings observation. Observation gives power. Shame makes people hide. So you choose. Second, identify the exact pressure points. Do not generalize. Ask, when did this pattern return? Was it after criticism? Was it during loneliness? Was it when someone is disappointed? When money feels tight? Around family? After poor sleep? When there is silence? During success? Before visibility? You see, patterns have entry points. So you find the door. Third, create one small interruption. Not 10, just one. If the pattern is sending long messages, wait 10 minutes before replying. When the pattern is saying yes too quickly, use one sentence. Something like this: let us check our capacity and get back to you. Where the pattern is overworking, choose one short recovery block before collapse. If the pattern is returning to a drain, write down the cost before nostalgia starts lying. Small interruptions create new evidence, and that new evidence begins to teach the system this: we can survive another way. Fourth, return quickly when you miss it. This part matters so much. A missed moment is not the death of redesign. It is data. What was the state? What was the trigger? Which need was trying to be protected? What support was missing? What is the smallest repair now? The old style says we have failed again, but redesigned style says now we know where the structure is still weak. That is a different kind of maturity. Builders do not abandon a house because they discover where reinforcement is needed. No, they reinforce. That is what this part of Inside the Design is about. Reinforcing the self, reinforcing the pause, reinforcing the boundary, reinforcing the rest, reinforcing the new decision until it becomes less threatening. So when you know better but still repeat the pattern, do not rush into self-attack. Ask a better question. What system is still producing this? That question carries more power than shame, Because once we see the system, we can then begin to redesign it. Slowly, honestly, but structurally. Before we close, let's reflect on one pattern. Just one. Where do you keep saying, "We know better than this"? Is it in communication, rest, money, relationships, boundaries, overcommitment, anger, or visibility? Now ask, what does this pattern give us temporarily? What does it cost us later? Where does it usually enter? What small interruption can we practice this week? Do not try to rebuild everything by Monday morning. That is just how pressure becomes another pattern. Choose one small redesign and practice it. Miss it if you must, but return quickly, collect evidence, and that is how the new self begins to trust the new way. If this episode gave language to something you have been fighting quietly, share it with someone who needs to stop shaming themselves and start studying the pattern. Follow Inside the Design on Spotify, subscribe on YouTube, leave a comment with one word: redesign. And if this touched something deeper than a comment can hold, send a message to the Innocent Minds team with the word redesign. We may ask a few questions to know whether a personal chat or a conversation that will help us get to the core of the issue will be a good fit. No pressure, no public exposure, just a proper way to see whether the pattern needs deeper support. This has been Inside the Design by Innocent Minds, episode 14. When you know better but still repeat the pattern. Next, we will look at why your old self fights your new decisions. Because sometimes the part resisting change is not your enemy. It is an old protector that does not yet trust the new life.